Thank you for clicking on our video. This is Reelmen Fishing. So today the weather conditions looked perfect to bag ourselves a carp. Hi and welcome back to Reelmen, and you join us on episode 8, and today we've got a couple of firsts for you today. This is the first time we've come down to Chertsey. This is Twynehurst Fishery. We're fishing, I believe, pit 7 today. And we've got another first for you. We're doing a full 24-hour session. So fingers crossed, today we're going to bag something nice. But as we are here for the first time today, let me run you through what I do when I join a lake for the very first time. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to use the marker float to actually search around the area that I'm fishing to kind of get a rough idea on, number one, the depth of every little area, and number two, what's going on in the bottom. Is there weedy patches? Is there gravel spots? Is there thick silt? Stuff like that. So first thing, we're going to just cast this out, straight out into the middle of the lake, like that. And I'm just going to bring the line in tight so I know that the float is now sitting on the bottom, and then I'm actually going to start letting off line, and I've got a marker just on the end of the rod here that marks exactly 1 foot, so I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so that's 13 foot out there. That's quite deep out in the middle of the lake. So what I'll do now is I'm just going to drag it back, and it actually feels quite stiff. So that tells me that that is actually probably stuck in some weed. So yeah, it's broke free now. So now feeling on the bottom for any little vibrations. Any little vibrations would tell me that that's gravel down there, but it's not. It's coming in quite smooth and quite easy. So that tells me it's sand down there. It's not thick silt. If it was thick silt, it would be like trying to drag it through custard. Same with weed. Sometimes a weed can really snag the whole rod up. But I'm going to check now. I've brought that back about 10 foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so that's 15 foot there. So I know that there could possibly be an underwater island out there, because as it was further out, it was only 13 foot. So that is definitely worth an investigation. Let's drag it back another couple of feet. Still feels relatively easy to bring back. So it's still telling me that that's sand. Now I can feel there that that is a little bit of a bumpy area, so that tells me that's gravel there. So let's have a look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so that's 10 foot. So maybe there isn't an island out there. Maybe what it is there's actually a channel that's running probably, I'd say maybe between 10 and 15 foot in front of me. It's probably a channel about 5 foot wide there that goes all the way down to about 15 foot. So that's definitely well worth a fish. So the next thing we do is we're going to cast around the lake a little bit more, see what other little features there are. I'm going to keep it, I'm going to make my mind up on which one I want to fish. I'll leave the marker float there, and then I'm going to move over to actually putting a bait rocket on and baiting that area up where I've left the marker float sitting, so I know I've got a nice little area of bait sitting there, and then we'll cast a rod out in that area, and we know we've got a nice pocket of bait, we know there's no snags there, and we can leave that rod there and hopefully fish it until something comes along. So now we've got the marker float out in position, what we're going to do now is we've got a spod rocket on, but I haven't put any bait in it yet. I'm literally going to cast it out and get it as close as I can to the marker float. Okay, that's not too bad. We reel back a little bit just to get a rough estimate of line, and we'll clip this now. So this way, when I actually put bait in the spod, it should hopefully drop very close to the marker every time, providing that I cast in that right general direction. So now I've actually got the rig set up on the rod, and basically what I'm using is a 20mm halibut pop-up. I've got a piece of fake corn on the end of that just to imitate the sort of same colours that I've been throwing out there with the spod rocket, and I've done the same procedure as I did with the spod. I left the marker float out there, I did a cast with no hook link on there just to make sure I've got it in the right position. I then clipped the line up so I know that I'm going to hit that same position, and I've brought the marker float back. So what I'm going to do now is throw this out there. There we go, it's hit the clip and it's landed perfectly where I want it, in exactly the right baited up area. And now you're probably thinking, well, what am I going to do now? Because I obviously can't leave this line clipped up. Let's say I catch a fish, it's going to have nowhere to run because it's just going to hit the clip and it'll pull the rod straight off the water, not to mention the hassle it'll be if I have to fight the fish, if it's a big fish. So basically what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tie a little slip knot at the end of the rod with a bright piece of braid. That way I know that when I cast out again with no clip on, I can cast out into the middle of the lake until that slip knot goes through the eyes. I can reel it up to the end of the eyes, and then I know that that's the same distance. I can clip it up and then I can recast back into the baited position. I'm using bright braid to do this, but the simple reason is I can see that when it's dark. So the only thing left to do now is wait for these alarms to go tearing off. Night time has actually come upon us, and so far, in the daylight hours anyway, we have had nothing. So, time to settle down in the bivvy now and see what the night time brings. Okay, so there you go. 3 o'clock in the morning. First fish has been a slow one all day, but this little fella has definitely been worth the wait. Not bad. About £3 bream, I'd say. Let's stick him back and get his dad. So, there we go. Second bream of the night. Hopefully we're going to bang into some carp soon, but I don't mind catching these all night, to be honest with you. A little bit bigger than this would be nice, but hey ho, we can't complain. This has got to be a bream, it's just, there's no fight, and now the other rod's going off. Could have a double hitter here. Oh no, it's this one. Crossing over the line. Get in that net. Way up. There she is. Third bream of the night. Now this one, I'll turn him round in a sec and you'll actually see these just seems to be a little bit bigger. Nice all the same. So as you can see, this poor fella, well, one-eyed Willie. Looks like that eye's been missing for a couple of years at least. He still found my bait.
So as the morning mist rolled in and the birds took to the water, it seemed the fish had gone back in hiding, and yet another episode of Reelmen has passed without even so much of a glimpse of a carp. But that in itself has a silver lining, because to me it's the perfect excuse to come back down here and hunt for a carp.
Okay, so we're coming to the end of our 24-hour session now, and what a night. We bagged so many fish, and I will be coming back here again, that's for sure. Maybe next time we go on a different pit and have a little look around the whole complex. But until next time guys, I'll see you later.